Welcome learners, I am Ekta Khullar from the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. In this module, I'll be talking about idioms and proverbs. Let me quickly take you through the learning objectives of this module. So, by the end of this module, you will be able to state what is an idiom, state what is a proverb, state the meaning of some popular idioms, learn the usage of some popular idioms, and state the meaning of some popular proverbs. Let us now move on to learning what is an idiom. An idiom is an expression or group of words whose meaning is different from the meanings of the individual words in it. That is, the meaning of an idiom is figurative instead of real or literal. For instance, he hopes to get a white-collar job, though with his level of education, he will be lucky to get a blue-collar one. Now, in this example, there are no shirts nor collars involved. However, the image is that of a man sitting in an office and working, while the other image is that of the same man doing physical work in a factory. Therefore, a white-collar job refers to an office job, while a blue-collar job refers to factory job or a job that involves physical work. Let us now try and understand the origin of idioms. In general, idioms are derived from our physical experiences, such as those that associate anger with heat, show strong similarities across different cultures, and they are fairly easy to understand, while some idioms are rooted in specific domains such as sports or sailing are likely to differ across cultures. Now, let us see how do we use an idiom effectively. An idiom typically evokes a scene that is part of a larger scenario. For instance, a debate between two politicians can be described as if it were a boxing match. And since English language has many idioms derived from boxing, we can use particular phrases to highlight a specific stage or an aspect of the contest. So, before the actual debate starts, the two politicians may flex their muscles to frighten the opponent. Here, flex their muscles is used to describe show of power. During the debate, one of them may carelessly lower his guard, meaning to become less careful, or take it on his chin, meaning to accept unpleasant comments bravely. And when the debate becomes heated, we may describe it as the gloves are off, to say that both parties are arguing aggressively. And then after a while, one may finally admit defeat and throw in the towel, which means that one party has admitted defeat in the debate. So you see how we have effectively described the happenings of a political debate in an interesting way using several idioms. And as you must have observed by now, usage of idioms can make an article or conversation interesting. Let us now look at some popular idioms and understand their meaning. To see red, which means to lose one's temper and become suddenly angry. For example, when she realized that no housework had been done all week, she saw red and banished us from her holiday home. Another example involving color is paint the town red, which means to enjoy yourself by going to bars or club. For example, Ian and Joe decided to paint the town red after winning so much money by gambling on the horses. Let us now look at some examples involving arms. For instance, to be up in arms, which means to protest strongly. Instance, the unions are up in arms since management declared there would be only a 2% increase on basic wages this year. Another example, to be hopping mad, which means to feel very angry. He is hopping mad because his daughter has borrowed his car for the weekend without first asking his permission. Let us now look at some idioms involving animals. For example, the lion's share, which means majority of a portion. The lion's share of her money went to her nephews and nieces. Another example can be to let the cat out of the bag, which means to reveal a secret. For example, he couldn't keep it to himself and let the cat out of the bag and told Emma everything. We also have some examples of idioms involving cooking ingredients. For example, to take it with a pinch of salt, which means to not believe that what is referred to is completely true. For instance, when she says she has absolutely no money, you have to take that with a pinch of salt. She's always been a real miser. Another example, to be a couch potato. Someone who spends too much money watching TV with no real interest or hobbies. For example, he used to play tennis and swim every day, but he's turned into a real couch potato this summer. Let us now move on to answering what is a proverb. A proverb is a short popular saying that gives advice on conduct and effectively expresses a perceived truth based on practical experience or common sense. Proverbs are a part of every spoken language and are related to folk literature and can be found as a part of riddles and fables that originated in oral tradition. Comparisons of proverbs found in various parts of the world show that some piece of advice may be obtained under different cultural conditions and languages. For instance, the biblical proverb, an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth, has equivalent among the Nandi culture of East Africa, where the proverb reads, "A goat's hide buys a goat's hide." Let us now look at some more popular proverbs. A bad penny always turns up, meaning a disreputable or prodigal person always returns. This proverb refers to the recurrence of any unwanted event. Another example, a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. This proverb warns against taking unnecessary risks, and therefore it says that it is better to hold on to something you have rather than taking the risk of getting something which may come to nothing. Moving forward, let us talk about proverbs that involve journeys. For example, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This proverb is inspirational in nature as it put forward the notion that however difficult a task is, one can complete it if one begins to do it. Another example, a house divided against itself cannot stand. This proverb emphasizes the strength of unity and therefore says that especially in times of crisis, if a kingdom or country is divided internally, it shall not be able to stand against an outside enemy. Let us now see a proverb that involves rolling stones. A rolling stone gathers no moss refers to a person who does not settle at one place and therefore does not settle to any job or lifestyle and therefore is characterized as unreliable and unproductive. Just as moss on a stone is only able to thrive when it is not moved or disturbed. Let us look at another example of a proverb. Don't cross your bridges before you come to them. This proverb is an advice which says one to not worry until something actually happens. Moving on to another proverb, a kite rises against the wind. This again is an inspirational quote that says A person grows and succeeds when he faces oppositions and conquers it. Another example of an advice is look before you leap, which is a proverb that says one should think carefully about the possibilities or consequences before doing something. Let us now summarize the learnings of this module. An idiom is an expression or group of words whose meaning is different from the meanings of the individual words in it. That is, the meaning of an idiom is figurative instead of real or literal. A proverb is a short popular saying that gives advice on conduct and effectively expresses a perceived truth based on practical experience or common sense. Hope you enjoyed this module on idioms and proverbs. Thank you.